We've seen plenty of movies where ordinary thieves rob banks for cash or gold, but this film takes things to a whole new level. Today's story is about an elite crew that pulls off the impossible, stealing 3,000 kilos of gold from a plane mid-flight at insane speed. Sounds crazy, right? But that's exactly what happens in Lift, and trust me, the final twist gives even Money Heist a serious run for its money. The movie opens in Venice, Italy, at a high-end auction house where priceless works of art are being sold. In the middle of the event, a seemingly ordinary man named Cyrus walks in, but he's anything but ordinary. Cyrus is one of the world's most notorious art thieves, making a living by stealing masterpieces from galleries across the globe. And tonight, he's on another job. He's not working alone either. He's backed by a highly specialized team. Camilla can drive anything with an engine, even a plane. My son is the hacker. Magnus handles safes and locks. Luke is the engineer. Each member brings a unique skill to the table as they prepare to pull off a major heist at the auction. Meanwhile, the Venice auction is live-streamed to London, where additional bidders are participating remotely. Cyrus enters the event posing as a bidder, just moments after a highly valuable painting has already been sold. Meanwhile in London, two of Cyrus's crew members, Luke and Magnus, break into the vault where the painting is being stored. Magnus cracks it open like it's child's play, pulls out the artwork, carefully rolls it up, and seals it inside a container. They toss the container into the nearby river, where another teammate is waiting on a boat. Using a remote control device, he retrieves it smoothly. Just like that, they steal a $12 million Van Gogh without setting off alarms. But that's just the warm-up. The real show is happening back in Venice. Suddenly, the world-famous and anonymous digital artist N8 appears at the auction wearing a mask. Since no one knows his true identity, he unveils his latest creation, an advanced NFT mask embedded with countless microcameras powered by AI. The device can generate flawless digital images and even create art based on the wearer's imagination. It instantly becomes the most coveted item of the night. When bidding starts, Cyrus jumps in aggressively and ultimately wins it for $20 million. But while all this is going down, Interpol agent Abby has her eyes locked on him. She's tried, and failed, multiple times to catch Cyrus before, and she was certain he wouldn't miss an event like this. Anticipating Cyrus's move, Interpol agent Abby had already planted multiple surveillance cameras throughout the venue, monitoring his every step. The moment she sees him purchase the NFT mask, she knows he's working towards something bigger. Her suspicion proves right when Mi-sun discreetly presses a button, triggering a small explosion-like disruption that causes the auction house lights to flicker wildly. Panic spreads, and guests begin rushing for the exits. Amid the chaos, Mi-sun approaches N8, offering to escort him to safety. But Cyrus intercepts, reminding everyone that he just paid $20 million for the NFT mask and now needs the access code, since the device is useless without it. Thinking fast, Cyrus tricks N8 into coming with him under the pretense of heading to his yacht. In reality, there is no yacht. He leads N8 onto a speedboat piloted by Camila, his team's expert driver. At the same time, after successfully stealing the painting in London, Luke and Magnus make their clean getaway. Back in Venice, Abby realizes both Cyrus and N8 have vanished from the auction floor and quickly deduces that Cyrus kidnapped him for the access code. She jumps into a boat and gives chase, nearly catching up, until Mi-sun uses her high-tech smart glasses, which double as a hacking device, to manipulate another boat into Abby's path, cutting her off and allowing Cyrus's team to escape. Even then, Abby refuses to back off. Just when she's closing in, Mi-sun escalates things by hacking the water barrage system in the canal, raising the barrier from beneath the river and trapping Abby on the wrong side while Cyrus's team speeds away. Once clear, Cyrus finally boards an actual yacht with N8. There, N8 removes the mask, and Cyrus transfers the promised $20 million into his account. The mood quickly shifts to celebration. Meanwhile, Abby issues a global missing persons alert for N8, and the world believes the anonymous artist has been kidnapped. The next morning, N8 is stunned to learn he's officially listed as missing. Confused at first, he questions Cyrus, but the $20 million in his account is very real. Cyrus then reveals the play. The money came from selling the stolen Van Gogh in London. They never actually kidnapped N8. They staged it that way because when something is stolen, its value skyrockets. He even references Mona Lisa by Leonardo da Vinci, which was once valued at just $25,000 before being stolen decades ago. An event that massively boosted its fame and current estimated worth of around $860 million. Now, thanks to the fake kidnapping buzz, the NFT mask's value has jumped to $89 million. Cyrus proposes they sell it at this inflated price. N8 would pocket an extra 27 million, and the rest would go to Cyrus and his crew. With everyone set to win, the two sides celebrate like they just beat the system. While reviewing the auction house footage, Abby uncovers a key lead. A man named Denton, who appears to be connected to the heist, and just happens to be a former member of Cyrus's crew. She confronts Denton directly and, despite his denials, brings him in. But before she can dig deeper, her boss, Huxley, pulls her into a bigger situation involving a billionaire named Jorgensen. Jorgensen isn't just wealthy, he's ruthless. His entire game is manipulating global markets by orchestrating disasters that crash stock prices. He profits through short selling, borrowing shares, selling them at high prices, then buying them back cheaply after the market tanks and pocketing the difference. According to Interpol intelligence, Jorgensen has hired a hacker group called Leviathan to sabotage water systems across major European cities, triggering catastrophic floods. Millions of lives could be at risk, but to him, it's just a market opportunity. As panic drives stock prices into freefall, he stands to make billions. The twist? The hacker group he hired doesn't want traditional payment. They're demanding something far more unconventional. The hackers demand 500 million in gold instead of cash, and Jorgensen agrees, arranging to transport the shipment from London to Switzerland. The moment Abby hears this, she understands what her boss Huxley is implying. If the gold never reaches the hackers, the deal collapses and the planned attacks won't happen. Because the gold transfer is technically legal, Interpol can't seize it outright. But if it's stolen, the agreement falls apart. And there's only one crew capable of pulling that off. Huxley wants Cyrus. Abby initially refuses to involve him, but with millions of lives potentially at stake, she has no choice. She approaches Cyrus, who isn't surprised to see her. They've crossed paths before, and it's revealed they once had a brief relationship without knowing each other's true identities. Abby lays out the ultimatum. Interpol has evidence tying his team to the stolen London painting. If he refuses the job, he and his crew go to prison. If he succeeds, their criminal records are wiped clean. Cyrus hesitates when he hears Jorgensen's name. Everyone knows how dangerous he is. But cornered, he agrees, on one condition. Abby must work with his team on the mission, ensuring Interpol doesn't double-cross them once the job is done. Cyrus's crew isn't exactly thrilled about the mission at first. They assume it's an Interpol setup. Abby convinces them by promising clean records and a real future if they pull it off, and both she and Denton officially join the team. The challenge? It's nearly impossible. Jorgensen plans to move the gold not on a private jet, but on a commercial passenger flight, meaning there's no opportunity to intercept it at the airport. If they're going to steal 500 million in gold, they'll have to do it mid-air. While the rest of the team stresses over the logistics, Cyrus stays unusually calm, because he's already building a master plan. We're then introduced to Jorgensen in full, and a flashback makes it clear just how ruthless he is. After crossing him, a man is literally fed to dogs on Jorgensen's orders, carried out by his right-hand enforcer, Donald. The next morning, Abby notices Cyrus in a surprisingly light mood, and the two reflect on their past. She reveals that her drive to join Interpol started in childhood. Her mother was a school principal, and a valuable painting was stolen from her office, devastating her. That moment sparked Abby's lifelong mission to hunt down art thieves. After their conversation, Cyrus gathers the team and finally begins laying out his plan. But there's another major obstacle. No air traffic control system in the world allows two aircraft to come within 1,000 feet of each other. If two planes get that close, ATC would immediately alert the pilots and shut the whole thing down, killing Cyrus's plan instantly. To avoid that, the team chooses a remote stretch of airspace over the Atlantic Ocean where traffic is minimal. As an extra precaution, my son develops a device called PSID designed to mask an aircraft's radar signature, effectively making one of the planes invisible to radar. It's risky, but it gives them a fighting chance. Still, the selected air corridor is monitored by a single control center based in Brussels, Belgium, so they need someone on the inside. Abby knows the perfect candidate, a controller named Ari. They travel to Brussels to recruit him. Like everyone else, he hesitates at first, until Cyrus casually offers him 1 million, which changes his mind fast. Just when things seem back on track, a new problem surfaces. Commissioner Huxley calls Cyrus and Abby in and reveals that Jorgensen has eliminated one of his own employees, the same insider who had been secretly leaking Jorgensen's plans to Interpol. By now it's clear, Jorgensen is no amateur. Huxley informs them the gold transfer is happening in just 10 days. Cyrus pushes back, saying that's nowhere near enough time to prepare for something this complex, but Huxley threatens to throw his entire crew in prison if they don't move forward. The next day, they see breaking news. Madrid's water system has been hacked, triggering artificial flooding across the city and killing 13 people. It's revealed to be a proof-of-concept attack by the Leviathan hacker group to demonstrate their capability to Jorgensen. The message is clear. They can deliver chaos on demand. Shaken by the news, Cyrus warns his team that this mission could easily turn into a death trap and offers to handle it alone. No one agrees. Saving lives matters more. Recommitted, they ramp up preparations. Cyrus instructs Luke to dismantle the NFT device and install its advanced AI cameras across their jet, giving them crystal-clear external visuals, critical for locking their aircraft precisely beneath the massive Airbus mid-flight. To help keep their jet off radar, they also install multiple metal shielding plates along the fuselage. Luke gets to work on that while Mi-sun completes the PSID device. Though it looks suspiciously like a bomb, at Abby's suggestion, they break it into separate components and plan to reassemble it on board to jam radio and radar signals mid-flight. Once everything is ready, they move forward. Everyone except Camilla books tickets on the Airbus A380, blending in as passengers across economy and business class. Camilla alone will pilot the private jet beneath the massive aircraft. The plan is to fake severe weather conditions and force an emergency landing at a remote airport while the plane is effectively invisible on radar, thanks to the PSID and their insider ATC contact guiding things from Brussels. During the emergency descent, they'll access the high-security gold vault stored in the cargo hold, transfer the shipment, and escape in the jet. On the day of the heist, everything starts smoothly until Cyrus realizes Luke never boarded. At the last minute, fear got the better of him and he backed out. Unfortunately, Luke also has a critical antenna booster for the PSID device. The system can still function without it, but now the margin for error just got a lot thinner. Without the antenna booster, the PSID device has to be assembled dangerously close to the cockpit to properly jam the signal, and Abby volunteers to handle it herself. Meanwhile, Mi-sun has already hacked into the plane's internal camera system and warns the team that several security personnel are positioned throughout the aircraft, meaning this won't be easy. Once the flight reaches cruising altitude, the crew members take turns pretending to use the restroom, secretly stashing different parts of the device inside. Abby goes in last to assemble it, but at the worst possible moment, it slips from her hands and breaks apart on the floor. At the same time, Camilla has maneuvered the private jet into position beneath the Airbus, close enough that radar in Brussels briefly detects it. Their insider, Harry, keeps quiet, but another ATC employee spots the two aircraft unusually close together. Harry brushes it off as a system glitch. The delay is caused by Abby struggling to reassemble the device after burning her hand, but Cyrus steps in to help, and together they get it running. Camilla successfully locks the jet beneath the Airbus, and once the jamming kicks in, the plane disappears from radar, convincing ATC it was just an error. However, radio communication with the pilots remains active, and Harry informs them that Zurich Airport is suddenly unsafe for landing. Harry tells the pilots that severe weather has suddenly made Zurich unsafe, directing them instead to divert to a smaller nearby airport, exactly as planned. The pilots comply, and as the Airbus changes course, Camilla pulls the jet away from beneath it on Cyrus's signal. Inside the cabin, Cyrus gives the green light to begin the heist. Denton fakes a medical emergency to distract a flight attendant, slipping a gas canister to Magnus in the process. Equipment needed to power a laser cutter for the vault. Magnus carefully makes his way into the cargo hold, while Mi-sun disables the plane's Wi-Fi to limit communication. When the pilots announce the emergency landing due to bad weather, Donald and Jorgensen's men immediately grow suspicious. They open briefcases and begin assembling pistols, realizing something is wrong. Cyrus understands they may be onto the plan, but if armed men reach the cargo hold now, Magnus won't finish cutting the vault. Donald then moves toward the cockpit with a gun, attempting to hijack the plane and force it towards Switzerland, even taking a flight attendant hostage to gain entry. That's the opening Cyrus needs. Using the hostage situation as cover, he and Abby launch an attack on Donald, and a brutal fight erupts between Cyrus's crew and Jorgensen's armed men mid-flight. The fight is evenly matched, with both sides trading heavy blows in the narrow airplane aisle. At one point, Cyrus tries to strangle Donald with a phone cord, but Donald reverses it and wraps the cord around Cyrus's neck instead. Abby jumps in just in time, forcing Donald to shove Cyrus away. He crashes onto a service trolley, which rolls down the aisle in chaos. The brawl continues until Cyrus finally slams Donald's head into a glass partition, knocking him unconscious. Together, Cyrus and Abby take down several more of Jorgensen's men. Meanwhile, Magnus successfully cuts open the vault with the laser. As Cyrus and Abby head toward the cargo hold, They're stopped by another of Jorgensen's enforcers, Cormac. At the same time, the Airbus reaches the designated airport for the emergency landing, only for the pilots to realize the runway is completely covered in ice. With no alternative, they attempt the landing anyway. The massive aircraft skids violently across the frozen runway, its wings scraping against snowbanks on either side, but after spinning nearly 180 degrees, it miraculously comes to a stop. Camilla, flying the smaller jet, lands far more smoothly. Back inside after being overpowered, Cyrus and Abby are captured and taken by Cormac to the cargo compartment. In the cargo hold, Magnus is captured as well. Moments later, Jorgensen calls, and his men report that a group of thieves tried to steal the gold, but the situation is now under control and the shipment is secure. Jorgensen coldly orders them to bring the captives to him so he can personally deal with them. Cyrus, Abby, and Camilla are forced onto the private jet along with the gold, and Camilla is ordered to fly toward Italy before redirecting to Jorgensen's estate. When Huxley gets word of the situation, he demands the jet be located immediately, but the radar still can't detect it because of the metal shielding plates. Then Camilla comes up with a bold move. She violently rocks the aircraft side to side, causing the exterior plates to shear off mid-air. She tells Jorgensen's men the turbulence is due to the weight of the gold bars. Once the plates fall away, radar finally picks up the jet's signal. Huxley reacts instantly, contacting NATO and insisting the gold cannot be allowed to reach Jorgensen, even if Abby is on board. He authorizes a shootdown, falsely reporting that terrorists have hijacked the aircraft. Within minutes, 2 NATO fighter jets scramble, intercept the plane, and demand that the pilot confirm her identity. Jorgensen's men refuse to let Camilla respond to NATO's identification request, while Harry at ATC urgently informs NATO that civilians are on board. Even after confirming this with Huxley, he remains firm on the shootdown order. NATO issues a 60-second warning and prepares to fire. With seconds to spare, Cyrus and Abby attack the armed guards again, triggering another brutal fight inside the jet. During the struggle, the cabin door blows open and several of Jorgensen's men are sucked out. Abby grabs the remote and uses the jet's massive external LED screen to display a clear message: "Civilians on board." They manage to seal the door shut, and Camilla flips the jet into a dramatic inverted maneuver to make the message visible. NATO sees it and aborts the strike, peeling away at the last second. But the danger isn't over. Cormac is still in the cockpit. He assaults Camilla and orders her to land. Thinking fast, she throws the plane into a steep nosedive, slamming Cormac unconscious against the controls, though she injures her arm in the process. Cyrus and Abby scramble to regain control, but a damaged wing plate throws off the aircraft's balance, sending it into a rapid descent toward a potential crash. Meanwhile, at Jorgensen's estate, members of the Leviathan hacker group arrive to finalize their deal. Jorgensen assures the Leviathan hackers that their gold will arrive shortly, but not even they expect it to show up the way it does. The damaged jet comes hurtling out of the sky and crash lands directly in front of his estate. Against all odds, the gold has literally landed at his doorstep. Miraculously, Cyrus and his team survive the crash, but Jorgensen approaches them with a gun. When Leviathan learns Interpol is closing in, they try to back out of the deal, so Jorgensen executes their leader on the spot to silence him. He then demands to know who among them is the Interpol agent. Before Abby can answer, Cyrus claims he's the agent, drawing Jorgensen's aim. Just then, Interpol forces led by Huxley storm the property. Jorgensen quickly shifts gears, pretending to be the victim and claiming the group hijacked a jet and invaded his home, forcing him to fire in self-defense. What he doesn't realize is that he's dealing with Cyrus, a mastermind who plans 3 moves ahead. Although Cyrus and Abby are detained, Magnus escaped earlier, and Mi-sun and Denton are still aboard the Airbus. Crucially, the cameras mounted on the jet's exterior recorded everything, including Jorgensen executing the Leviathan leader, giving Cyrus the evidence he needs to expose him. Cyrus then releases the incriminating footage to everyone, giving Interpol the hard proof they need to arrest Jorgensen. It looks like the chaos is finally over, until Abby discovers that Huxley was the one who ordered their plane to be shot down. Furious, she slaps him and immediately resigns from Interpol, and you can probably guess what comes next. Abby officially joins Cyrus's crew. A few weeks later, Cyrus surprises her by tracking down the man who stole a painting from her school when she was a child, buying it back himself and returning it to the school. But that's not even the biggest twist. The gold never actually slipped through their fingers. Magnus had secretly forged identical gold bars ahead of time, and they loaded the fake vault onto the plane while dumping the real one into the ocean. So when Magnus opened the vault mid-mission, he tossed the real gold into the sea and kept the decoy in the cargo hold. meaning Huxley ended up with nothing but fakes. And Luke? He never betrayed them. His job was to make sure the real vault was safely dropped into the ocean. It's a mastermind-level scheme that feels straight out of Money Heist. In the end, the team reunites and uses a remote-controlled system to recover the real vault from the ocean floor, making every single one of them insanely rich. With the gold finally in their hands, the whole crew celebrates like there's no tomorrow.